this match coming up, we have Holly, and she's going to be playing Noise, and just kind of looking at it, this is we're going to see we're going to see some viruses, but it's not going to be.
It actually looks it looks pretty similar to the list Pacer's been running with one notable change. She's playing a hacktivist meeting. So Currents, I think people are starting to get the idea that you got to play Currents.
Yeah.
And we saw
and if you
it was pretty relevant in Corey and Michael's game, if you guys remember early in the day.
Right. If you get hacktivist online,
yeah,
and it can stick around in a left to right deck.
Yeah. Then you're pretty good, pretty set.
And she's also running NEH. However, we talked about. At the very start of our day, we talked about death in the room.
Yeah, and I
haven't seen it at all.
Right, and I mentioned I played her yesterday, and died horrifically.
And so I'm excited because it'll be fun to see that possibly happen.
But Ross playing RP here.
Okay.
Gonna just jump out early and say, "Here's my hand."
There you go.
But I get money for it. So
let's play Guess the Ice. Which one do you think he's going to install?
It's going to be Eli.
But you didn't guess which
I think I was wrong, actually. I think it was Pup on R&D.
So there you go.
So there's that.
You got that going for you.
And, he's happy to let her in. If she wants to spend 4 on NAPD, I think he's okay with that. But we did talk to talk to Ross, and he said he's not comfortable going late with this. So this is a rush deck. He wants to score early. So that Eli probably actually going to be saved for when he wants to score something out. It's probably not going to be that NAPD, but
rush RP. It seems weird because we're so used to seeing just pretty typical usual decks, and he's trying something a little bit different.
Well, and the thing is, like in Louisville, even he was playing RP when he won that regional. He was rushing things out. That last game lasted maybe 15, 20 minutes because all he was doing was scoring as soon as he got it in hand.
Oh my gosh.
It was
and
crazy.
Right, here we are.
And everyone was surprised to see it, and no one's ready for it. Everyone sees RP and they're like,
they'll set up. And he's like, no, I don't want to set up. I'm set up.
And so this is NAPD behind Enigma, and if Holly doesn't have the answer, that's 2 points for Ross.
Right.
it's about as simple as it gets.
One of my favorite kind of Ross stories too is because we always kind of talk about the think tank or the mind dungeon where you kind of stop and you think and you're kind of like, oh, what do I need to do?
Ross doesn't do that.
And Ross was like, yeah, I did that one time, and then I watched the video and I was actually had paused for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So he's very fast with his thoughts and what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Even when he thinks he's not thinking good.
She's gonna run HQ.
I'll take some money.
Sees another celebrity gift. Pass it back to Ross, and run the remote. It's Eli. Oh, interesting. But she's gone on click 3 and cannot click through it, which I think Ross is actually probably not super happy with.
No.
Because he's now going to have to pay a total of 7 to score that NAPD and protect it, when he would have much rather just had her access it and pay 4 probably.
Right.
With no clicks remaining. But if she's not going to, I think he'll take the 2 points.
Sure.
Or
he's going to let it go.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Ross is a different level of player.
Running for 1, click for 2, 3, 4. You spend your whole turn
stealing the NAPD.
And
that's what Ross wants to force her to do. In fact, she can't.
Why?
She has 3 credits.
So Ross had judged that.
Wow.
He
Ross
assessed
is,
it, and he was like,
Ross doesn't care what you're running. He's gonna do what he does.
Right.
So Hacktivist out, which is I
so he
did
just
not
says,
see her pay for the Hacktivist, but Ross happy to res his mental health and
just kind
say
of
goodbye
dumps
to
his hand.
I
love it.
And then he will finally score the NAPD.
Okay. Now he's got 1 card in hand. This will be not good for a turn or 2. This turn actually specifically.
Yeah, it's unfortunate dropping the celebrity gift, but again, he didn't have anything in hand anyways. So, and the fact that he sort of forced the hacktivist and then scored right away was pretty ideal.
Yeah.
So Parasite,
all right, everything's
on the
open.
Pup, and Holly can go wherever she wants.
Oh, I like it. So she's running medium, giving you multi-access every time you run.
She has no money, so if there's an NAPD, she's not stealing it.
and she's not doing a really good side game if she has 0 money.
Yeah, that's also true. So I think that was 3 clicks. Oh, 4. It's all 4. And
Okay.
Ross has another NAPD in hand.
But this, she's going to get money from her daily cast, and I would draw for ice. He pets his cards.
I can't tell if that's a hedge fund or not. It looks like
Right.
draw,
Okay.
draw, install. I think that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you've got your 2 points out.
Right.
I think knowing Ross, he might go for the
Next NAPD?
the next NAPD fairly soon, but he's got to defend R&D at least,
Right.
and he's done that now. That's not porous ice that she's getting through.
She's right, and she's in this kind of awkward situation where
Like-
I need money, I need to draw cards,
But these
I
servers
also,
are open.
Right, but I
Have to run them.
I have access to these things.
Yeah,
So I should go and look at these things, but
it's tough, and that's the position Ross wants you to be in. He's
Right.
like, sure, I'm playing RP, but really I'm just dropping things down and advancing them, which means
No.
you have to make really tough
Right.
decisions.
and I know that gosh, when Anatomy of Anarchy.
Uh-huh.
That was the kind of. I mean, I know that's a long time ago, but gosh, it would a couple a siphon here, siphon there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean that
Wouldn't be so bad.
it's crazy that we have seen like a single account siphon played today, and it was
We've
stopped by a
seen
12
one,
booth.
right, and that just kind of goes to that idea of as the game develops and moves,
The meta's growing,
right, and they
a lot
say,
wider.
well, I now have a response to like people and people sometimes just kind of say, all right, I'll take hit me with your account stuff and
Yeah.
I'll go about my day.
Well, and we were just talking about it with Hollis and Ricky, right? Where let's just leave stuff unresed if we're playing against an account siphon matchup. As soon as they do it, we'll res everything
Yeah.
in our horizontal decks. So really interesting that there are sort of so many options now
Yeah.
in the meta on both sides of the deck.
Right.
So
And here is
Ross Jackson
and rushes it.
saves some cards. He's rushing out the NAPD. She runs it. Can't steal it.
Right, because he's not going to make that same play with Nisei.
Absolutely not. No. He's going to drop another piece of ice, which he has in hand. 2, in fact. He has a wraparound as well. And I can't imagine he's not going to drop that wraparound here fairly quickly.
Except he puts it over.
He puts it over archives. I mean, I'm okay with that. It's a central.
Why not? But why not protect his hand?
I mean, it's a good question. I think at a certain point, in fact, no, he still has a wraparound in hand. So he dropped
Okay.
whatever the other ice was. Might have been Marcus, which
Right.
is a good one to drop on archives, right? It
Sure.
forces you to essentially click through it, and if
Right.
you don't have the breaker.
When that was kind of when that was explained to me, that idea of like why I think Ross was the one who was saying like the reason Marcus is so good is because you have to respond to it. It's
Yeah.
not a bounce ice. You
Yeah.
have to do something. You have to deal
Right.
with it.
And that's why he probably doesn't want to drop wraparound on HQ,
Right.
because then she can just run into it. Like she's running into the Baco right now, and
Right.
that's her run on a central now. Now the remotes are open. And so at some point he wants to sort of improve that ice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Chrysium grid in hand?
It is.
That's interesting. It's very interesting,
And he
Ross.
says you don't get to look at more cards.
Yeah. So he's going to be fine with that. Is that the wraparound he then put in front of Baco?
I believe so.
Interesting. So he's just stopping that whole server.
Okay, so we've got Street Peddler. I love Street Peddler. What a good card.
It's great. I really like the sort of mechanic they're coming up with with all these face-down rental cards. It's
Yeah.
nice.
It's nice to see Wildside just Wildside here. Okay, so pancakes are going to be super important in this particular situation, being that
Yeah, because she doesn't
You're-
have the
you don't have
clicks
to
to get into Eli now.
no. So lose a click to draw, run. No, yeah, Eli is super strong.
It's interesting that we see the Lamprey in the bin with a wide open HQ, you know?
Yeah, I mean he's at 14 credits.
So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be noticeable, but you get him to res some ice, and that number starts dwindling pretty quickly. So,
Yeah, but this is not again.
but yeah,
this
setting
is,
up to
and this
to
is not your
jam.
typical. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
This I think what's not the reason this is not like a typical RP is because RP, as someone had once explained to me, like RP is hungry. Like RP, the ice is expensive.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is not like money heavy.
Yeah, that's true. That's accurate.
So we've got
It's a very good
Baco, which is
2.
2,
Wraparound,
Wraparound,
2.
Eli 3.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Yeah. So, yeah, and certainly, you know, it's better to use those lampreys to ace ops, which she now has.
Okay.
or Mills. You know, just Mills in general. But it's just a shame to see them in the bin. I really like it when people play them and use them as intended.
Well, that's, I mean, Headlock Reina. That's a deck for another day.
So she gets another Hacktivist out. Oh, she did have 2 of them in the deck. I thought I saw 1.
Okay.
So that'll end the ELP struggles that Ross had laid down.
Yeah.
And there's a Jackson milled to the trash as well. So
she actually runs 2 Hacktivists. That's
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Most Noise players struggle to find deck space for things, but
I think she made some interesting
happy to put them in.
Design, like deck design choices.
Yeah,
she has a Plascrete. She also has an I've Had Worse.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. So really trying to tech for a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we saw that in who was it that just played Noise? Ricky, right?
Mm-hmm.
That choice sort of slows down your Noise deck,
right?
And it makes it harder to sort of get things going fast.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll see the same thing here. You know, Ross already on 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 1 agenda away from winning.
Really. Behind an Eli.
Behind an Eli.
Yeah.
And that's it. And, you know, 10 minutes into the round.
Yeah.
So, RPFA.
That's right. In the most non-FA way that there's FA.
But Holly just going to keep trying to money up, get the viruses out, and get set up to
I think she's going to get to a situation just kind of looking at what she has available. She has answers to these problems.
Right. She does run the corroder, so it's just a matter of finding it. But again, it's easier said than done. Peddler is one way to certainly get there.
Yeah. Kind of thinking.
Dropping the second medium. So that tells me that maybe she does have the corroder on that Peddler or in hand.
Right.
And is getting ready to sort of chase down the R&D lock.
Okay. I think he's really happy with what he just seen. Lotus Field, and I think that was a Sundew.
Okay.
Taking the Sundew.
No, he took the Lotus Field. And yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
That's correct.
Drops the Lotus Field in front of Eli, has the Future Perfect to win the game in that server, and he will.
Right now, as it stands.
He will absolutely just advance it.
What else is protecting? Was it a Caprice in there?
Not sure. Okay. Not sure. I don't remember seeing the Caprice, but whether it's Caprice or Batty.
Yeah, there's no answer to it right
either
now.
One fires, it's good. And frankly, there's no answer to Lotus Field. You know,
no.
David doesn't get there either. She gets a Knight, that's fine, but
Faust
means you have to run HQ or R&D. You have to run a central, and then already have Knight installed.
It's going to take 2 turns to make it happen. Because she's got to install it.
And she does have.
How much money does she have?
She has this turn and next turn essentially.
I think those little squares are her coins.
So
she's got 4 credits.
And that's not enough.
No.
It's enough for Knight, but she's got to have it in hand right now. And that is the only answer I think she has right now.
Install the Knight. Click the Knight over. Run. Run the road. It doesn't add up.
No. Installs the Lamprey though for more mill. So I think it ends up being she's just got to go to R&D and then archives if it And she has the Croter in hand. We just saw it.
Right. Because if he goes...
Oh, but she's going to run the DBS and trash it. That's interesting.
And now she has no money. But, I mean, she'll be up to 3.
Advance. Well, yeah, but what does that really do for you? That's
advance
less
and
than
take
4.
a credit. All right. And now she has to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know, Josh. I mean, it's...
So I think in response, she's probably just going to... I mean, no, she can't even get into R&D with Corroder. So
switch her idea to Leela. Score. Pop it back to hand.
Yeah.
I mean, these are outs.
Yeah. That's the solution, folks. Just play 2 IDs. We did it.
Tag in.
Team.
There you go.
The casting table figured out how to score.
How to solve this particular puzzle right here.
She's just going to take 3, I guess, it looks like. And then he'll triple advance
and that is...
Score.
RP rush.
RP in 15 minutes, folks. That's how you do it.
That is... wow.
That was classic Ross. Surprising everyone. Yet again.
He'll come over here and be like, oh, I spent a lot of time thinking about what I needed to do. Ross, you played for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was... But, I mean, it's classic Ross. Like, that's how Ross has been playing RP for months now. And,
right.
You know, we saw it here on display and making a case for that top 4 spot.
Yeah, I mean...
Certainly.
Denying that opportunity to get set up and I mean, because she never got to get her board state anywhere near.
Not even close.
And I can't remember where I read it or heard it, but I think it might have been.
Did you read it on Reddit?
I might have read it on Reddit. I think it might have been Dan
D'Argenio?
I think he might have been talking about, at some point he was talking about the importance of putting Eli on a remote, even though everyone kind of tends to think of putting an Eli on
especially
a central.
in RP.
Right,
and
having that Eli on the remote was just doing crazy work. Because even though it's porous, it's not.
Yeah, because you're having to spend so much time if you don't have the breaker out.
It's not time porous, right? So, and again, he's rushing through, and he's like, you can come and get it, but you don't have the money or anything to deal with it.